Hi, it's wonderful to be able to present another session on healing power God's way. And in this session, we're going to talk about a natural remedy and really amazing natural remedy and the application of this. The verse that we've been using throughout the series is Jeremiah 30, verse 17. It says, "For I will give health back to you, and I will heal you of all your wounds, saith Jehovah." I love this verse so many times. I just think back at the time where I was praying for recovery from my cancerous condition, and God has kept His promise. He did heal me. What a great God we serve. We spoke about the natural remedies. We spoke about true remedies. We spoke about the health laws that God has given us. We spoke about nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, trust. With this session, I'm going to share something I have discovered in my research and have really applied in my own life with the most wondrous effect. We're going to talk about charcoal, and it is really nature's amazing remedy. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 27 really sums this very simple, foolish thing. It sums it up. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. Now, let's look at where do we want to go with this nature's amazing remedy. We're going to talk about what is charcoal. We also would like you to understand the adsorption qualities of charcoal. And then, since when was charcoal used? Different forms that we find charcoal in, how charcoal is made. We need to know how it's made. And then advantages of using charcoal. We also would like to look at some tips around charcoal, and there's some ways that we can use it. There's the internal way of using it, but there's also the external way, and we're going to look at that from a practical point. And then, things like snake and spider bites, also insect bites. How could charcoal be used as a detox pack? And then the famous writer, Ellen G. White, what she said about charcoal right here in the 18th century. We're also going to look at some practical examples of using charcoal, and then, charcoal in summary, we'll end with that. Now, what is charcoal? What really is charcoal? Well, when I look at a definition, we see charcoal is a black, shiny, odorless, and tasteless substance made by burning certain types of wood under controlled conditions so that a very large adsorption surface is produced. You would hear me saying, talking about adsorption. It's AD, not absorption, because it really just pulls things to itself. All the impurities are removed so that it is 100% pure vegetable matter when they make activated charcoal. So when you would buy charcoal over the counter at a pharmacy or a health shop, it would be activated charcoal. So under this very controlled conditions, it would have been produced to have all the impurities taken out, and you just have that 100% pure vegetable matter. It's the most common use is the powder form, and it's very, very fine black powder. It's potent. It's really very powerful. Very dangerous if inhaled or swallowed in this form. So, it's one of those things that you would have in the medicinal cabinet that's locked up, because if your child would open this and sniff it, they would die. That is for sure. They would just suffocate. It's an excellent healer. With so many things, you just see charcoal just very active. It must be activated charcoal. When you use charcoal, if you want to really have it in a most powerful way, it should be activated charcoal. Now, when you look at the molecule, the charcoal molecule, it's got a whole lot of little holes and indents and cavities. And this really expands its surface of adsorption at the end of the day. Charcoal is round with many dents, And then 1 cubic centimeter laid out flat could cover 1,000 square meters with charcoal. So there's 1 square centimeter. It just goes everywhere. This is why you can't just, open the bottle or shake it, or it would just spread like you can't believe. Its adsorption qualities means that it could pull, or it could remove 250 to 350 times its own weight in toxins. So, it's really very, very potent. Adsorption means to carry on the outside. When we absorb, it's like inside. It sucks into itself like a sponge. But adsorption is really pulling to itself and holding it there. So yeah, it does have a little bit of absorption, but mostly adsorption of these toxins. Now, since when has charcoal been used? Well, we know that it's written of in 460 to 370 before Christ, at the time of Hippocrates. He wrote about it. Doctors used it for more than 200 years. We've got a lot of documents on that being used for the last 200 years. There's wonderful stories to be told about charcoal, dating back at 1897 and so forth. And if we have some time, we will share some of that with you. Now, there's different forms of charcoal. You could find charcoal in capsule forms. You could find it in tablet form. And then in powder. We need to know that powder is really your most potent one way of using charcoal. Your capsules are less powerful than powder, but twice as strong as tablets. Tablets, least powerful, but you can still use it if you need to. The reason why it's less powerful is because of all the binding compounds and so forth that is in it to keep it in a tablet form that really takes the power of it away. I want to really make sure that our listeners, our viewers, don't confuse charcoal with charcoal briquettes. Now, it's not the stuff that you're going to make a fire with to braai your food with. No, that's not charcoal. It's not scorched food. You can't, have your burnt toast scratched off and use that as charcoal. That is really toxic. That is not what we are talking about. Now, how do they make charcoal? Well, charcoal is made primarily of eucalyptus trees, but also pine wood, willow oak, any other soft woods you can use for making charcoal. You can make charcoal at home, or you can buy it from the health shop. But you need to know that the health shop's one would be much more potent than the one at home because it's activated. And you find that the homemade one would be a quarter to a half the strength of that from the health shop because it's activated. It's just been prepared in such a monitored way that all the toxins is removed from it. If really in a bind, you're there out in the sticks and you need charcoal, very, very urgently, you could take charcoal from your fireplace, crush it between two stones, and then further grind it up in a blender or a coffee grinder or, a rock, whatever you've got, and you could use that, and that would help you when you're in a bind. Now, I've personally made charcoal where I would dig a hole in the ground and then make a fire with these soft wood, and then as it's burning 100% perfect, you can see all the wood is burning, we would cover it with a plate and then put the soil on top of the plate and just leave it there until it's burnt out. So it will burn until all the oxygen is burnt out, and you would find this charcoal really, a big benefit. Now, some of the advantages of using charcoal. Charcoal is readily available. I couldn't say that for 15 years back, but today most pharmacies would carry it. You would find it in health shops. It is available wherever you go. It's simple to use, very, very simple to use. It's totally harmless, but there is some important charcoal tips that you need to have. You need to treat it as medicine. It could be dangerous. If your kid is going to open up the tin, sniff on it, you would really find you're going to have big problems. we should not use it 2 hours after meal or medication. Well, we should use it at least 2 hours after meal or 2 hours after medication, because it would actually pull. It's highly negatively charged, and it will pull anything that's positive. So medicine normally is positive. Many things that we would eat is positively charged. So, when we'd eat it, it would just pull it to itself and just work it out of the system. Your medicine is going to be worth nothing if you drink it in that window period. Children, if we want to use charcoal on children, the recipes that we are sharing with you right now, it will just be half the adult dose, and it's perfectly harmless. You're not going to have any problems. So just a gentle reminder about charcoal. When we use charcoal internally, you'll use it with water. You would drink it down, and then you'll fill the glass again with water and rinse up all the sediment, and then drink it again. You need at least 2 glasses of water with 1 tablespoon of charcoal. Never use powdered charcoal on open wounds. So if you've got an open wound, and it's really a good antiseptic, it really works like a bomb. It just takes that septic condition and changes it around. But you can't use it on an open wound. It would tattoo you. You will have that black mark right there for the rest of your life. So we would put it in unbleached linen or something like that, so that you could separate the charcoal directly from the open wound that you would have. You could carry charcoal with you. I would go nowhere without my charcoal. I've even got charcoal in my little toiletry bag that I carry with me to wherever I go. In my cars, there is charcoal. Charcoal has saved many people's lives that I have been directly involved with. So it is really very good to have it with you. Charcoal must never be taken dry. Always use charcoal with water. Drink the charcoal. Don't put the dry charcoal powder on your mouth and then trying to swallow it with water. You're going to suffocate yourself. So if you want to commit suicide, this is the way to go. And you shouldn't do that. Drink water with your dry charcoal. You could make a charcoal pack or a detox pack with it. Yes, it could be used for many, many ailments. For internal use, you could use charcoal for tummy trouble or cramps. If you've got cramps, just drink a glass of charcoal. So it's going to be 1 teaspoon of charcoal on a glass of water. And remember, then you're going to take another glass of water and mix all the sediment that was left in it, and you're going to drink that. So it will be there 2 glasses on the 1 teaspoon of charcoal. If you've got tummy flu, and you have got diarrhea, if you've got that, just drink your charcoal, take it internally. If you've got nausea, you're going to do the same thing. 1 teaspoon of charcoal, glass of water, a second one if you just want to just rinse that sediment. If you've got a bad breath, remember, bad breath is not always, not brushing your teeth. Bad breath is really your digestive system that is in trouble. And you could help to get rid of these toxins by just using charcoal. Poisons. So somebody has gotten in some poison. This is the easiest way. Rather than try to get them to vomit, you don't know what they've drunk. It could have been acid or whatever. We shouldn't have that acid. If it is it, come back. Charcoal would be the answer. Just give in charcoal. It would deactivate whatever the poisons are. Fever. You've got a fever condition. I've seen this and been involved with this with kids having high fever. We love fever because fever is really our friend. It's fighting against those enemies, bacteria, viruses. It cannot live in an environment where it's too hot. So this is why your body really builds up fever. But we should control it. And if you need to control it, then if it goes too high, we don't want it to go too high. That's the time we'll use charcoal. You can use it internally as a charcoal drink, and you would just find that the fever would go down. Insect bites and snake bites, the whole range of snakes, the whole range of insects. I would make sure that there's internal take of this charcoal, because it will pull the positive ion toxins and poisons to it and keep it to itself, and then it would flush out of the system. Inflammation of the bowel, that is really so potent for that. Indigestion. I mean, you could really see within minutes, you'll see a big advantage of using charcoal as a drink. And then overdose of any drugs. Somebody tried to commit suicide, or somebody was spiked, or had an overdose of whatever drug. You could just nullify this in the system by giving them enough charcoal. So there, we would not just give them the once, but we will give them charcoal every few minutes, like every 15, 20, 30 minutes. It depends on the case and the sort of overdose they've had. Now, there's also uses of charcoal for external use. And sore, inflamed eyes, really so wonderful. You would just make a little charcoal pack, and we're going to show you how to make these packs later in the session, where you just make a small little pack that would fit on the eye, and you'll put the charcoal mix in the little unbleached linen. You'll put it on the eye. You might take a bandage and just keep it there in place with that, and that inflammation will be pulled out of the eye very, very quickly. I want to, however, make a suggestion that whenever a person is putting a pack on where there's a problem, we don't know what the toxicity of this person is. That it's a good idea to put a charcoal pack and a detox pack around the tummy area as well, because this is the most toxic area of our body, and it means that these toxins will be pulled out. The charcoal will pull it out here. Now, if I've got it here to really address this inflammation of the eye, it would actually pull the toxins of the system there and could really just aggravate this whole issue. And I've seen this. Somebody with abscess put the charcoal pack in there and this thing just blew up. And, we thought we were in big trouble. Well, the fact is, we've learned this the hard way. If you put a pack on here, it will pull the toxins here, and it will sort out wherever this inflammation is, where you've got the pack. So for swollen, painful areas, beautiful. Somebody with, sort of arthritis, joints and so on, a beautiful way of just getting rid of the pain and getting rid of that inflammation in a very, very good time. Inflammation and bruising of whatever place in your body, this is the answer. Injuries to your joints and arthritis, wow, it works like a bomb. Inflammation of the bowels, it is really the answer. Once again, fever, there you could put a charcoal pack on, and you will see that the fever will be broken. For small kids, I've seen putting a bit of charcoal in a basin, and you just dipping your little baby in the basin with charcoal water. Yeah, it's going to be black. It's going to not look good, but the fever would come down very, very quickly, and then we can just rinse off our little baby and clothe him again, and many times the problem would be solved. Insect bites, it's beautiful. I mean, you can just put charcoal on that area. So if you've got a bee sting there, just make a little bit of charcoal paste with water, put it on there. If it's a place that you want to keep closed, you can actually just put a little Band-Aid strip or something over it. Beautiful stuff. Lesions. Oh, it really just makes a difference. Earache. I've had kids, screaming with earache. And you make it just a little small charcoal pack and put it on there. It's minutes. Remember, it's going to go on hot. It's going to go on wet. You don't want to burn your child's ear. You're just going to make sure it's not too hot, but it's going to pull out that inflammation, and that pain is going to be gone. That kid's going to be happy in a very short time. Snake bites. It's potent. I mean, normally a snake would be around and would get a chance to bite us when we're out there in the sticks, where it's far from any medical institutions, and that could be a problem. And so this is the time that you should have charcoal with you, and you could actually really turn this thing around. I've been involved in saving more than one person that was bitten by a snake in the little time that I have been involved with this. Now, let's look at this. Snakes and spider bites, because you know what? A snake bite can kill you. There is certain spiders that can kill you. Their venom can kill you. So what we'll do is wherever the snake or this insect or this spider has bitten you, you're going to quickly, and time now really plays a big role. You're going to wash that area. Just wash that area very, very quickly, as quick as you can. Wash the area with soap and water, and then submerge it in cool charcoal bath. So if I've got a spider bite there on my arm, I'm going to put some charcoal, and that's the time you're not going to measure. You're just going to take a cupful, put it in the water, and just immerse that limb in the water and keep it in the water. We're going to have internal use of charcoal at the same time, and then we're going to apply a large detox pack on the area where the snake has bitten us or where the spider has bitten us, and then we're going to change this charcoal pack frequently. We could change it every hour. Every hour I'm going to change that pack. We're going to, as I said, drink the charcoal, and we may even use, when we open it up in between, just put the ice pack on so that we get the swelling down. And I've seen this so many times. A few hours later, charcoal pack is off. You'll see the little marks where the teeth went in or the fangs went in. And I must tell you, there's not even swelling because of the way we've dealt with it. It's always good advice to go for further treatment and monitoring. And this we've done so many times, where I would take the person back to an medical institution, and they would say, well, we can give antihistamine, we can give this, but this looks good. This is really the way to go. With insect bites, it's simpler. For a single bite, just use a Band-Aid strip and just wet that little area there in the middle and put some powder on there, and then put it on. You can make that little paste on there, and then just stick it onto where the bite is for that single bite. So it could be a single mosquito bite. Some people are very allergic to it, and they would swell up and have this itch, and it would become septic and all that. You can prevent all of that by just putting this charcoal Band-Aid on there, or even a bee sting. You could do the same thing. Drop of water, dry powder there, mix it a little bit to make a paste, and put it onto the insect bite. And when you've got multiple stings, here's the answer. Get the person as quick as possible to a bath, and just fill up the bath with well, it should be more cold than lukewarm, because we don't want to open the pores. We don't want all the charcoal to go into the pores. And then we'll just put in 1 cup of charcoal in that bath, and we can just lie submerged in the bath, and the charcoal will do its thing. It will just pull out that poison, and we'll see recovery very quickly. There's some other uses of charcoal that you might not be aware of. We could use charcoal as a deodorizer. Unbelievable. We are so privileged to have a little holiday home, and we rent our little home out to people, and we always say part of our conditions of stay is, take all your food with you, please. We don't want you to leave it there, because it's maybe 2-3 days later that we go back and go and clean up. So we don't want all this rotten food. And so many times people, they don't read these conditions, and they would leave it there. And I've had one time where a person left some, you won't believe it, fishing bait in the freezer. And the electricity went down, and days later when we got there, you can just imagine the rotten lot that we had to face there. I mean, we had to get masks to really get to clean this place. Our neighbor said, just throw away the freezer. Just throw away your fridge. I mean, you're not going to get this thing fixed up. And you know what? We know about charcoal, and it's so amazing. We cleaned it up, and the odor was there. But we put a little bowl of dry charcoal in the freezer part, and a little bowl of dry charcoal in the fridge part. We closed the whole lot. We left it like that, and we left. Amazing stuff. Days later, a week or 2 later, when we came back, we took that charcoal out, went and buried it. All the odors are gone. That fridge is like it was before. Really wonderful. it's a good water purifier. So if you don't have a purifying system, or you're out there in the sticks where you don't get fresh water, you could use the best water that you can and really purify it yourself by just using charcoal. So what one could do is put some water in a bottle, put some charcoal in it. So if you've got a liter bottle, if you put 1 tablespoon of charcoal in that liter of water, shake it well and just leave it. In a few hours, the sediment would go down, and all you do is just pour the top off, and then you rinse the sediment out. That water would be pure. You will be able to drink it. It's not going to be a problem. It's really so wonderful. You could also use it as a potting or a garden compound. So, roses they really love charcoal. If you would just, put it in with your fertilizer, you will see your plants will just really grow, because it will, just keep the bad stuff to it, and the good stuff the plant can take up. It's also a good fertilizer, and it's a good insecticide for especially roses. So yeah, you can really see the advantages of charcoal. It's prevention of water pollution. There's been spills, and they would just dump a lot of charcoal in the area, and that spill would be cleared up by this charcoal just taking it all up with it and just working itself out and getting back into the ground. The absorption of pesticides and herbicides. I've been to a site where a farmer had a herbicide spill. Now, it meant that a big area was polluted, and he would never have a crop there for a long time. And so all they did was they dumped a truckload or whatever of charcoal and spread it. A messy job, that we can understand. But the next season, that was the area where he had the best crop, because the charcoal did not only deactivate the pesticide or the herbicide, it actually was a good compound back into the soil, acting as a fertilizer. Now, I'm so glad that Chantel has agreed to help me with this practical demonstration of how to make a charcoal pack. And so at this time, we're just going to go to the part where we invite Chantel Horn to show us how to practically make a charcoal pack, a detox pack that we could use to detoxify somebody. The same thing we're going to use for my infection in the ear, the same thing we're going to use to really curb the inflammation in the eye. And I've even seen with cancer, painful area, hot charcoal pack on there. It just draws out the pain, and that person for the first time in their lives slept. Well, I can't say for the first time in their lives, for the first time in many days, because of the pain, they actually slept. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Thank you for watching this series, and we're going to go out to the practical side now. Thank you for being here, Chantel. It's great to have you on our Healing Power God's Way set.
Yes.
And you are here to show us how to make a charcoal pack.
Yes.
It's a detox pack that helps you to detoxify. It really takes pain away and all of those things. Show us, how do we do this practically?
All right, it's pretty simple. Anybody can do this in their home. For this, you'll just need a few ingredients, and I think it's important that we just talk about ingredients and utensils that you will need.
Okay.
The first thing that you will need is some linseed. We've got some whole linseed here on the table. I've already gone ahead and I've grounded them up in our little bowl. So you will just need a coffee grinder, which you will just ground them fine and put them into your bowl.
So you'll just put it in there, grind it up.
Yes.
That's it, and then you'll put the right amount in there.
Exactly, yes. So then after you've got your bowl, I like to use a relatively high bowl because this can be a bit of a messy mixture. So this just prevents messing or unnecessary.
Preferably a glass one, because it cleans better.
Much better, yes. Glass is much better. It's always a better option to use. Then we've got here activated charcoal.
Yes.
Which we have just bought at a Dis-Chem or house store. They are freely available today. So I thought I will just take it out from here for us. I want to caution our viewers to work with activated charcoal gently.
Cautiously.
It has the ability to make a mess. So you want to work with it gently. So we've got in here 1 cup grounded linseed.
Yes.
And now we're going to add about 2 tablespoons activated charcoal. As you can see, I'm gently putting it down.
So you're not going to throw it down because
No.
everything is going to be black.
Yeah, as
Okay.
you can see, it's a
Oh,
very,
it's
it's
fun.
very powdery. So it's going to mess, and it's got an ability to go where you don't want it to
Yes,
go.
yes.
So we're just going to add our 2nd tablespoon of activated charcoal. Okay, so that's basically it. Let's just close the lid. We don't want any mishaps to take place.
Sure.
Then what
It will stain clothes and all that if it would get on the clothes.
Yes. It's something you don't want to clean from clothes. So I would say if you need to wear an apron or something, if necessary. Maybe I can just mention to the viewers that the grounded linseed is what actually makes this whole mixture stick, if I can call it like that. The activated charcoal is actually the detoxifying agent, but the linseed
Is the carrying
is
agent.
the carrying agent. It's the
Yeah.
binding,
Binding agent.
Yes.
Okay.
So you need something for this mixture to bind, and
Yeah.
that's what the
So
linseed
you could
does.
use, if you don't have linseed, you could use something like oats.
Yes.
That would work.
Yes.
Or potato.
Yes, something that gets that gets
That
sticky.
gets sticky. Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes. So, but yes, just to inform our viewers that the activated charcoal is actually the ingredient that makes this a detox pack.
Sure.
Then what you're going to need is you're going to need boiling hot water.
Yeah.
And I always suggest viewers to start with little water because you don't want this mixture to be too runny.
Too runny.
Yes, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like a
Jelly blob.
no, but it shouldn't be too runny either.
Good.
So you need to find a consistency that works for you.
Sure.
You will, if you do this quite often, you'll eventually become used to how you like it.
Okay.
So I always start with two cups of boiling water. And then usually I find if I need to, I'll add more. Otherwise,
That should be fine. Yeah.
that should be fine. What I can tell our viewers, if you've made a mishap and you've added too much water, then you can just add some more grounded linseed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was taught if it becomes. So now we just want to stir this. And once again, we just want to do it
Gently.
gently, yeah.
And it becomes jelly like very quickly.
Very
eh?
quickly.
You can just see it.
It's already becoming, and actually, if you let it stand a little bit, it will become like that even more. So
Yeah.
ideally, you can make it and just give it a few minutes to stand, and then actually just come back.
Oh, this texture looks
It's already
100%.
it's already becoming.
Yeah.
You can already see it's becoming thicker as I'm stirring it, and once again, just. Okay. What do you think?
Very well mixed.
Do you think that's all right?
That is. Let me just.
Yeah, use the spoon just
Can
to
I
show.
just see the consistency of
see.
this? And you see there it is. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We don't want it runny like water, and we don't want it to blob down like a jelly blob. This is perfect.
Yeah.
This is really perfect.
It will even set even more. You know, like I said, if you let it stand for a little while. I'm just going to put that in there. So now what we need is, I'm just going to put that over to the side, is you need a piece of unbleached calico, which is just a pure cotton material.
Yeah, so it's like a old sheet.
Oh, that could also work. I've done that before.
Old sheet, if you don't have anything
Yeah.
else. Just
Any material
cut that in.
Yeah.
And the size of this is really, it's really great to know.
Yes.
It's around about 30
Yes.
centimeters across and 40 centimeters.
Yes.
And so when this is folded,
Folded.
it's 20 by 30.
Yes. Yes.
Great,
That's a good
great.
size. Because what is important is you're going to put this on your tummy. So you want it to be a size that will actually cover the area of your tummy.
Yeah. So a bigger person, you could actually make a
Make
bigger
it
one
more,
if you need to. Yeah.
I've even seen people actually make one that goes all around.
Sure.
If you know
Sure.
it's someone that needs to actually have more detoxifying that needs to take place.
That's
so
right.
I've seen that.
That's right.
So you would have noticed as we open it up that we've kind of folded it in double. And then there's a specific reason for that, and that is because we are going to fold it in half, and I always make a definite line so that I know
Where the half mark
where the
is.
half mark is, because we are going to only use the top part or the bottom part, but one part to actually put the mixture on, and the other half is actually just going to come up to basically
And
close
close
it
it up. And now this is
It's
there,
at the
so nothing
bottom.
would fall out.
Yes,
Okay.
that is the whole idea. We don't want it to come out at the on the bottom. That's why we're covering it in
Sure.
double.
Sure.
So I'm going to just start and go right ahead and start putting some of this mixture. See, it's already set
This
even
is
more. That's even better.
Perfect texture now.
Let's do that. So this mixture is going to make more than one charcoal pack.
Sure.
So what I would do is I will make this one, and after we're done, I'll make a few and I'll just put them in the freezer. And then we can talk about how we can use them once they've
Yeah,
been
so
in
you
the
could
freezer.
use something like
Cling wrap.
and you
Yes.
just roll it up in
Yes,
cling
I
wrap.
think we can show them with this
Let-
one
let's
as
do
well.
that. Let's do that.
Okay, so you don't want to start with too much because you don't want the mixture to be too thick on your cloth. So I always start in the middle and then I move to the sides. And it's very important to leave about a 1 centimeter to 2 centimeter
Border on
border.
the three sides
Yes,
at least.
on
Yeah.
the 3 sides. Here you can go to the end, but you don't want to go to the end of the borders because then it's going to become messy.
Yeah.
On your skin.
It's not going to go. We don't want it to just
No.
run out and
No,
push out
no.
and so on.
So basically,
And it shouldn't be too thin either, eh?
no, it shouldn't
Yeah.
be because then you'll have a runny thing that would actually just run out from the
Sure.
sides.
Now, this is powerful.
So yeah, so that you just go ahead and you just spread it to all the areas. I like it to be straight. This one is actually like messy now, but it's okay. So I'm going to go right to the end of my fold because that's not going to mess.
Sure. Yeah, this would stain clothes. So if you would sleep with this
And it
during the night,
messes.
and that's the best time to detoxify,
Yes, definitely.
then it means that if it can run out, your pajamas and all that
Yeah,
would be really ruined.
Stained,
It would be
definitely.
ruined by this, yeah.
So this side we can actually just put a little bit more. What do you think? You think that is enough, or should
Yeah,
we
we
put
can
on
just give it a little bit more, then
I think so
we
too.
spread it a little bit wider.
Even.
And the fact is, we find even people that are more toxic, they need,
A little
thicker,
bit, I was just about to
thicker
say.
or a stronger
Yes.
sort of mixture. Eh?
Yeah, so I'm just going to fill the little holes that I'm seeing here that
There we are.
okay,
Shoo.
there we go. Okay, so I think that's about ready. What do
Now,
you think?
what we want is we want this charcoal pack not to be too dry
Nope.
when it goes on, and we put it now on the
Skin,
skin. So it's
very
on
important.
the tummy area,
Yes.
on the skin,
Yes.
and it needs to be hot
Yes.
and it needs to be wet,
Wet.
because that osmosis that needs to take place
Yes.
between the skin and the detox
Detox
pack.
pack is very important.
That what do you call it?
Reaction.
That reaction,
Yes.
yes, it should be a wet one.
Yes, I
Right.
agree.
Okay.
So that's why it's very important to make sure that you don't use a dry detox pack. That's
Yes,
very
yes.
important. So basically now what you need to do is you just need to fold this over
Yeah.
and then just dab it a little bit.
And
Just
you can
to
see that moisture actually now comes
it
through.
comes through.
It comes through.
So you basically just want to press it so that it's nice and stiff.
Sure.
All right. So now your detox pack is ready to wear.
And we need to have it hot like this, so the person would have their tummy
Yes,
exposed, and they will
yes.
put it on,
on there.
and
Yes.
then
And then we'll take some cling wrap,
and just wrap it.
wrap it around. So basically what you would do is you would just start, like
Yeah.
for instance, you'll just start here and you'll take the cling wrap all around, all around, all around. You can even do 3 to 4 layers. So you have to imagine that he's now got the pack on his
I've
skin,
got it here on my front.
and then you just basically cover it. Sometimes it's nice to go to the bottom a little bit just to make sure that the pack stays intact.
So it must be
Sorry.
it must be
Stiff. Oh,
over the pack
Yes,
itself,
yes,
so that we
very
actually
important.
cover it.
Yes,
It's going to keep them moist there, it's going to keep the
exactly.
heat there,
Mhm.
and it's going to keep it from messing.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, if you make sure that the cling wrap covers the charcoal poultice, it would help it to stay intact as
Yeah,
well.
it's not going to fall off or move around or
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Okay.
So you want to maybe go one on top as well, just to make sure the top part is
Sure.
covered. So let's just unwrap you again.
Oh, I'm stuck.
This way, this way, this way. There we
Yeah.
go. So basically what I just want to show is also that has worked for me is when I put it on my skin,
Now this is nice and wet.
it's
Yeah.
nice and wet, yeah. I like to fold the top over like that. So I think let's just quickly show the viewers how to now put
To
this in the
store it.
freezer.
So we
Yeah.
want to store it, so we've got some extras. We put it, it's really a great thing to have in the freezer. I've
Yes.
been using it so many times.
Yeah.
Just pull it out there and help somebody.
Yes, yes. So basically you can fold it any way you like. I just fold mine like that. You can give it even another fold
That's it.
if you want to.
At our lifestyle centers is exactly how we do it.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
see where I've learned.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, now what we're just going to do is, if you could just hold that for me just
Sure.
gently. Okay, so you can put that on there.
It's going to cover the sides.
So you
You're
want
gonna
it to
cover
cover
it.
the sides, and you want it to cover the... So I just kind of,
And you roll it.
I
And then
just
you,
roll it.
and then you put another one there.
That's what I wanted to say. Now you can put another one there, and you just
you
roll,
just roll it
you
again
just roll
that
it,
side.
you roll it again to this side.
And so what you do is when you want one, you just tear the one off.
Exactly, because they're not completely tight. They
Yes,
sort of...
Just tear it off. The others you put back in the freezer.
Exactly.
And this one you saw, or you
Yes.
put it in the microwave.
Yes, I've even steamed it a bit.
That's it.
You know, like just having a pot with
Yeah.
a strainer,
Yes,
you know, that
Yes.
you would do rice. Just
Yeah.
put that on there with a lid and just steam it hot.
it steams it hot.
Yeah,
And we
that's
want
it.
it to be hot, but not burning.
Yes,
And
wet.
and then this person will keep it on for about 8 hours
Yes,
max.
definitely.
And then they need at least 3 hours
Non-detox pack wearing.
Yeah, so that it could dry
And I
up
think
again.
it's important to say that remember to always, when you want to wear another one again, to use a fresh one. This one goes to the bin after you've
that's
used
true.
it.
Yeah.
So we don't want to wear a detox pack for 8 hours and then you reuse that
Yeah,
one. No, you want to throw that one away.
Perfect. Perfect.
So that's basically it.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
Chantel, for sharing your expertise with us. And I'm sure our viewers is going to try this. I've seen pain being relieved.
Yes.
I've seen people with toxic systems
Yes.
really getting, very, very well quickly.
Yes, definitely.
So,
This
yeah.
is a
It's a wonder
oh,
remedy.
amen. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
It's a
Appreciate
pleasure.
It.
Thank you.
May God bless. Well, I'm so thankful for Chantel that showed us practically how to make a charcoal pack. And just to remind you that we will put that charcoal pack now, the detox pack, on the tummy area. And that would be a detoxifier. So somebody that's on drugs, this is what we would use to detoxify them for pain relief. You'll put it on the area. And you just put the Glad wrap around it so it wouldn't spill and it would keep the pack there. If you've got a snake bite or insect bite, you would wash the area. Then you will put the charcoal pack on, and then you'll change this charcoal pack every half an hour to an hour for a snake bite or for a spider bite. It's really very important to know that you can't reuse this charcoal pack. You need to throw it away. So when you've used it, and never wear a charcoal pack more than 8 hours. So if you've had it on for 8 hours max, you need at least 3 hours of it, just your skin to really get dry again and breathe. You need to throw away that charcoal pack. Don't try and reuse it. Don't try and be economical about it. Now, there's some practical examples that I just want to share with you in short. And we're saying in summary, if you want to make a charcoal pack, you're going to use that activated charcoal. You're going to use enough hot water to make it a paste. You're going to put it on the area that was shown by Chantel. You're going to close it. you're going to put it on the area. It must be hot, it must be wet, and then you're going to wrap it with Glad wrap, and that will keep it nice and clean, and there will be no messes. We also want to remind you that you can use it for ant or mosquito single bee stings, where you just use a little band-aid strip, and on the little portion in the middle, a drop of water, a little bit of charcoal, make a paste, just put it onto that area where the insect has bitten you. We also want to remind you, if you've had multiple stings, you can just use one. If it's just a few stings, but if it's multiple, there's many stings, you can use 2 cups of charcoal in a bath, and you just soak in the bath, and you can stay in there for a couple of minutes. I would say at least 30 minutes or so, and then you could get out, rinse yourself off, and you will take charcoal internally, and you would be okay. Snakes and spider bites, same thing. Remember, we wash the soap. We soak for at least an hour in charcoal water there where the bite was, and then we'll put a charcoal pack onto that area where you were bitten by the snake or by the spider. For dirty water, to purify the dirty water, you're going to put 2 tablespoons of water in 1 jug of a liter of water. You're going to leave this for at least a few hours, preferably overnight, and then you will pour the top off. That will be your pure water, and the sediment at the bottom, you'll just throw that away, because all the toxins is now kept with that part that you throw away. Now, in summary, charcoal must never be taken dry. This is really the only big danger about charcoal. Drink it with water. The only side effect, you could never overdose. You could never really overdose, but you could get constipated if you don't have enough water with it. So the idea is just when you have 1 teaspoon of charcoal, you will have at least 2 glasses of water, 1 with that charcoal, then 1 with the sediment, and that would never give you, constipation at all. You could make your charcoal packs. We have spoken about that, and you can use this for many ailments. I've had many cases. One lady, she's been a diabetic, open sore, open ulcer, wound never healing up. And she had this open wound for more than 12 years. And at times it became bigger, and then, aggressively trying to treat it, it went smaller, but never closed. And one day, one of the nurses at the institution, the old age home, asked me, do you have an answer for this? And all I taught them was to do contrast treatment. So hot, cold, hot, cold. So 3 minutes in the hot, 1 minute cold. 3 minutes in the hot. And that leg where the ulcer was, then let it dry for an hour or 3, and then put a charcoal pack on there. And it was amazing. Within 10 days, that big hole just closed up to no hole. I mean, I couldn't, I can still remember this nurse phoning me, and she says, man, you should come and see this. I've never seen something like this. Within 10 days, this thing is just closed, and there's no hole left, and this is just wonderful. So charcoal has a lot of good properties to it. It's an excellent healer. I remember one case where this old lady phoned, and she had a big cancer tumor in her neck. It was a big cancer growth like this. And one night, during the night, she phoned me, and she was teary, and she just said, would you come and just do a prayer for me? I'm busy dying, and I want you to just come and pray for me. And that was like 12 o'clock at night. I was already in bed. I was sleeping, and I wake up, got dressed. And before I went out, I thought, man, let me take a charcoal pack or 2 with. And I threw it into a cooler bag, and I went with it there. And I saw this lady in agony. There she was lying with pain. And she said to me, I haven't slept for 3 days. The pain medication is not working. I've got so much pain. I just want you to pray for me and read a piece for me, and then, I'm content to die if I must die, but, I really can't take this anymore. And so I did make her comfortable, and then put the charcoal pack in the microwave just for a minute or so, got it heated up. It was more than a minute because I had to defrost it, and then, it takes about 30 seconds to get it heated up. And I put this hot pack on this area, put just a towel around it, made it comfortable, started reading a verse, and it was amazing. She just fell asleep, and then she was fast asleep. The neighbor that was looking after her, I phoned next morning about 9 o'clock. I said, is our auntie okay? She says, man, you won't believe it. She's still sleeping. She is really doing so well. And so the pain was just gone with this charcoal pack, and it's really amazing stuff. We need to know there is power in it. God has said in 1 Corinthians 1 verse 27, he said, God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So he's using this thing that really is like, very, foolish in our minds, charcoal, to do miracles. It's really just amazing. There's such a lot of stories that I've read about how good this is. One of my favorite authors, her name is Ellen G. White. She's written many books, and there's one little testimony that she wrote that at a certain camp meeting, the parents brought a little girl to her, and she was very sick. She had high fever, and the doctors feared for her life, and this is why they said, take her to Ellen White and let her just pray for her at least, because we can do nothing for her. And the moment that she saw her, she summoned for charcoal. And she said, bring me charcoal. And she used charcoal, and now we're not sure if she used a detox pack or she gave it internally. We're not sure. It doesn't say in the testimony, but we know that the testimony says that in half an hour later, the kid got up and she went to play with her friends. This is really the answer. I've got many of these charcoal testimonies of people that said, this is the most crazy thing. Ellen White herself said, if I could give this another outlandish name, instead of calling it charcoal, give it a big, medical name, then many more people would have used it. Because it's so simple, people just think, oh, it's foolish. How can it work? I want to really encourage you. I want to challenge you with the fact. Go and see what this does. If you've got indigestion, go and use some charcoal. Drink it with a glass of water and find that within minutes, that indigestion would just disappear. It really works like a bomb. There is so much in what God has given us. And if you need more, you could really contact us at the numbers that would be presented at the end. But just contact us. We can give you more information. And may God bless you as you use the natural remedies that He has given us. Now, we've looked at the true remedies. That's the 8 true remedies. And now we share it with you a natural wonder remedy that I believe God has also given us to really make life much easier. May God bless you as you follow these. Remember, the true remedies are there as a law of health, really preventing us from getting diseased. But I want to also remind you that the true remedies God has given, the new start true remedies are given to us, really to help us recover from disease. And now He's adding things on, and we're sharing as He's exposing this to us. May God bless you. Let's do a prayer. Our Father in heaven, thank You for the wonderful opportunity of having You as our Creator God. Thank You that You are the healer. Thank You, Lord, that we can just be reminded of Jeremiah 30 verse 17 again at this session, knowing that You said, I will heal you. I will heal your wounds. Thank You that You are the healer. Help us, Lord, to trust in You, Your healing power. And this is our humble prayer with thankful hearts in Jesus' name. Amen.